So first of all, how can you perceive consciousness? First of all, just as the potential to experience things. That's what consciousness is, the ability to experience. But if you get more intimate with consciousness, you realize it's not just the potential for experiencing things, it's actually the experience of things. Now that requires a thing to experience and a being to do the experiencing. So there you go. When you're at that stage, you're in this Atma stage. You're perceiving Atma. There's some specific observer and a specific thing being observed. And that's Atma, where there's some specificity to it, and it's kinetic now. It's not just potential. And then Paramatma means you're observing it, let's say. Param is like the paramount. The English word paramount is related with this prefix param. It means like just the best sense of this thing is param, whatever. Paramatma means like the best type, the supreme individual. Then the third state of consciousness, the third state of observing consciousness is called Bhagavan, which I explained, the one that's got it, the one who has it all. So for this, you realize, why does the observer observe the observed? That Atma is the observer observing the observed. Brahman is observation. Brahman is observation, Atma is the observer observing the observed, and the Bhagavan is the reason why the observer observes the observed. Why? For fun. This is the one that none of you got. You guys didn't get this homework question right. Third question was, what's the meaning of life? And you're really surprised. You just doubt that the Vedic scriptures are going to tell you the meaning of life is to have a good time. But that's the conclusion of the Vedic scriptures, is that the purpose of existence is ananda, or enjoyment. Pleasure, fun, to have a good time. That's why the observer observes the observed. So that's what Bhagavan is. Bhagavan is consciousness as an enjoyer. Enjoying consciousness. These are not three different things, they're three perspectives on one thing. What thing? Advait again, the ultimate consciousness, that's the root of everything. There are three different perspectives, and what the perspective is, how close you are to it, how intimate you are with it. But if it's really far away, you just see reality as the potential of experiencing objects. But if you get closer to it, you see, hey, there's actually experiencers here that are interacting with objects. And if you get very close to it, you see, hey, this is fun. The experiencer is enjoying the experience. Now, you could see that with any kind of consciousness that you look at, a dog, a cat, a bug, your friend, yourself, and you'll see the same thing in how you observe the supreme consciousness, Paramatma, God. That if you're very far away from God, God is just some kind of like an energy, a potential for reality. If you get closer, you realize, I think actually God is an individual being and is interacting with other beings. And when you get really close, you see, hey, this guy's fun. This is fun. This is enjoyable. This is pleasurable. Humans think that God's going to serve them, but it's like really hard to get it into our minds, really, to digest the concept that we're supposed to serve God, not the other way around, which means like we're supposed to see things the way God sees them. We're supposed to experience things the way God experiences them. Not like that God is supposed to come into our world and make it be the way we want to experience it. That's the whole problem. I mean, that's the whole reason for all the stress and the suffering and the confusion in life, is because we're like trying to go against the stream, the river of reality. We're trying to make things different than what they naturally tend to be. God will let that happen because you have freedom, and he's always going to respect that because that's what he wants. Coming back to the first class, right? And he sets up a place where it's possible to do it, but you just have to cooperate with the other people who are trying to do the same thing. And that's why there's karma and all those kind of laws about how you cooperate with each other. So anyway, so that is what Paramatma is, by the way. Paramatma is the superintendent of the external reality. It's the superintendent of karma. superintendent of this whole world, but it's totally neutral and impartial to everybody. You might think he's partial to the gods, he's partial to good people, but he's not. It's good to act like God. Baldevi says, it's better to act like God and not stand still and beg or try to be godlike. Ne? It's good to act like God, but the thing, whether you're acting like God, you have to act like God because you are like God. So you will act like God. We'll always act like Bhagavan. But the problem is when we have ignorance of, the basic ignorance is the ignorance of the fact that we're Atma and there's a Paramatma. And we're dependent on the Paramatma. So our activities should be just like, this is like a really old example, but I can't I can't think of a better example. The example is a hand and the stomach. So if the hand is like, I'm sick of this stomach. Every day I give this nice sandwich to this mouth and it goes into the stomach and I don't get any of it. From now on, no more of this business. And he just starts munching on the sandwich. Then the hand is not really going to be so happy after a few days. It's going to be running out of energy and everything. So the hand has to realize that I am like an emanation from the stomach, and feeding the stomach feeds me. Taking care of the stomach takes care of me. Or like if a leaf says, I want to catch all the water before it falls on the root. Because I'm sick of all the water going to the root. I need water. Then the leaf is going to die. Because the root is the means by which the leaf gets the water. So the thing that we really haven't experienced is that we have a root, Paramatma, and by giving our energy and attention and activities to the Paramatma, that's how we get nourished and enlivened and how we feel happiness. We keep thinking, wow, there's a beautiful thing, it should be for me. Here's water, it should be for me, I'm the leaf. So technically, April's asking, Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan need one another. Since you said it's just a different perspective, they have different functions, right? They're not actually one another. You can't even use the phrase. They're the same being, but they fill different functions, and they're experienced by different people. This is the thing. Like another example is, you know me in a certain way. All the people here right now know me in a certain way. My mother knows me in a different way. And my daughter knows me in yet a different way. But I'm the same person. So Advaya Jnanam, which is this ultimate reality, is one thing. It's Advaya. But different people who have their own differences cause different perception of the thing. And it can be categorized into these three broad things. Some people will only perceive Brahman. They won't want to get that intimate to it. So the most intimate they'll get is that it's this energy that I am also, and I should be one with it and stop trying to be different from it. But the people that can get a little more into it and say, well, what is it? It's an energy of consciousness, so it must be a being. So maybe I should try to cooperate with it. And then if you get even further, you can see cooperating with this being means having fun, pleasure, enjoyment. This being wants to enjoy. And so do I. And I learn now how to enjoy. All right, Bhagavan perception experiences the full Atma of the faith. And so this is the fullest one. Like if you got the mountains, and you get a little closer, and then they're super close, and you can see there's a squirrel in a tree. So like the fullest experience of Advaya Jnana is Bhagavan. That's why the statement has it in that order, actually. Brahmaneti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavaneti. They're in a certain sequence. So there you go. If you think about what consciousness is, it's the beauty potential, really. It's the pleasure potential. So, and that's what Bhagavan is, the one that is experiencing and tasting that pleasure.